For sharing the joys and sorrows of our lives with one another. Cards for sharing your joy or sorrow are at the desk right back there at the entrance of the sanctuary for you to fill out beforehand. We ask that you pick it up now and fill it out prior to that section of the service. We invite everyone present in the sanctuary to join us for our in-person coffee hour immediately following the service. And members, don't forget, we have a very important congregational meeting today after the service. We'll try and start right on time at 12:30, so our Zoom folks can get hooked in as well. We'll be voting on our new mission and vision, elect new board members, approve the congregational budget, and much more. So we hope you'll join us for the meeting. Visitors and friends, anyone is welcome to join for that meeting to observe what's going on, but we do need a quorum of members for voting purposes. Thanks.
Good morning. I'm Kathy DeWeese, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm honored today to serve our congregation as worship associate. A lit chalice is a symbol of our faith as Unitarian Universalists, connecting us across time and distance to a legacy of love, truth, and shared purpose. Patrick Bakel will do our chalice lighting this morning. As we light our chalice in the sanctuary, I invite those on Zoom to light a chalice or a candle or to type a location in the chat. Our chalice lighting and opening words today are by Thomas Rhodes. All of us are beautiful. We come in a variety of colors, shapes, and sizes. Some of us grow in bunches. Some of us grow alone. Some of us are cupped inward. Some of us spread ourselves wide, and some of us are old and dried and tougher than we appear. Some of us are still in bud, some of us grow low to the ground, and some of us stretch toward the sun. Some of us feel like weeds sometimes. Some of us carry seeds sometimes. Some of us are prickly sometimes. Some of us smell. And all of us are beautiful. What a bouquet of people we are. Come, let us worship together.
Our opening hymn today is number 396. I Know This Rose Will Open. We'll be doing this as a round. I'll lead us through the first, and then there'll be three after, where we'll divide the room in two parts. Please rise as you're willing and able.
I know
was pretty. Would you please now join me in saying our covenant, which is on the screen and in your bulletin? Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. This is our covenant. And now we'll say our covenant in Spanish. El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia, y el servicio es su ley. Vivir juntos en paz, buscar la verdad con el amor, y ayudarnos una a otros. Este es nuestro pacto. Please be seated. You guys are in good voice today. Our congregation is a lively community with many opportunities to participate. Here are a few announcements for today, but please check your order of service for more. If you are interested in joining a 5-session mini UU Chalice Circle this summer, please see John Cornell at the table in the social hall today after the service. If you've thought about attending a Chalice Circle before but have been reluctant to or unable to make the commitment to a 10-week circle, this is your chance to experience all the fellowship that occurs among participants in half the sessions.
Kids, youth, parents, guardians, grandparents, and volunteers, please mark your calendars and remember to stick around on June 1st for lunch and our annual RE Religious Education Feedback Meeting. This year, we've leaned into the spirit of play, and all of our sharing will be through games and fun activities. And apparently, there may be treats. Sarah promises that we'll wrap up no later than 2 p.m.
And Lindy and Jordan's meal train starts this week when they bring home their new baby. But fewer than half the meals have been provided. Please see your e-blast for details and sign up.
Today, during our congregational meeting, childcare is available in our elementary RE room upstairs, first room on the left. We look forward to seeing any kids who aren't attending the meeting there. If your child remains in the nursery, once multi-age childcare begins, they will be escorted upstairs to join the rest of them. It's like I need to shift hats or something. One of the ways that we live our covenant in this lively, engaged community is through the sharing of joys and sorrows of our lives together, so that they may be held in community. In just a moment, as the music plays, I invite people in the sanctuary to come up and drop a stone into the bowl if something is on your heart today. You may notice that the joys and sorrows table is not right in front, as usual. It is actually off to my side, this direction. I don't know if that's stage right or stage left or right, but it's right there. So hopefully you'll be able to see it. I think you'll be able to use both sides of the table, but if not, just make it work. All will be well. If you've written your joy or sorrow on a card, please leave it in the basket that's at the table, and we will make sure to read it out loud. Please note that there are cards by the entrance to the sanctuary for easy pickup when you come in. And for those of you who are on Zoom, it's less complicated than it is here in the sanctuary today. Please put in all caps either joy or sorrow plus your name and pronouns at the beginning of what you are sharing if you would like me to read it out loud in the sanctuary. That capital joy or capital sorrow is what helps signal me to know that you do want it read out loud in the sanctuary. You can also symbolically drop a stone into the bowl by typing drop stone or just DS into the chat. Let us share the joys and sorrows of our lives with one another. We have a stack this morning. And very nice work figuring out. It was not meant as a test. The bowls are in a different order today, and that was a mistake, and you all figured it out, and you went with the flow. So first off, give yourself a round of applause for navigating the chaos. Very nicely done, and these are the joys and sorrows that were shared today. Mara Hyam White, our congregational administrator, shares that the sorrow that she has been diagnosed with Cushing's disease, caused by a usually benign tumor in the brain. Mara will be having invasive procedure in 2 weeks to help locate the tumor, followed shortly by surgery and possibly radiation. She shares that recovery can be long and difficult, but hope for overall health, improved health is high, and we will keep Mara in our hearts. And if things are take a little bit longer to get back to you than normal, please be patient, and now you know why. Matt shares the joy that the Indiana State Representatives Town Hall was informative, calm, and well attended. Yay. Linda Parr and Suber share the joy that their granddaughter Rosa received a 6-year full ride scholarship this week. The scholarship will cover the rest of her undergraduate and graduate degree, and they are so proud. Lynn shares the sorrow for the cruel upcoming execution of Benjamin Ritchie on Tuesday, May 20th. Amy shares the sorrow that she's mourning the loss of her beloved grandfather, Raymond Berry. He was 94 years old, a Navy veteran, and the portrait of generosity and resilience. Molly Ann shares the joy of going to art fair with her mom after church. Maria shares the joy that she is thrilled to share. She is answering the call to ministry and is starting seminary this fall. Maria Renner, congratulations. Lydia shares the sorrow that she lost her baseball game yesterday, 5-10. Gobi shares the joy that he's happy about the last day of school, May 23rd. I think a lot of people share that joy, and perhaps some sorrows. Utah shares both a joy and a sorrow. That 2 weeks ago, their fiance's mother was murdered. It's been a deeply difficult time, but they've had tremendous outpouring of support, and it's good to see how loved she was. They will miss her. Erin shares the joy of celebrating a new job this week and her niece's wedding. Katrina shares the joy of Crow and Bea enjoying their time at Canoodle in Canada this week. That's the Canadian Youth Festival, youth conference. Sandra Gruber shares the joy that she led 4 successful drum circles last week. 3 were paid gigs, and that's the most she's done in a week, and it was a lot of fun. Linda shares both a joy and a sorrow. In Thanksgiving, her dad passed away. In Thanksgiving for her dad, who passed away this week, and his long 94 years of blessing to his family and friends. We have one that doesn't have a name on it, but somebody's childhood friend had a baby in the past 2 weeks, and they say, "Welcome to the world, little one." And Alice shares the joy that Alice has 4 more days of school till Alice is on summer break, and that means this year, Germany. Wow. It is a roller coaster of emotions, reading the joys and sorrows and hearing them. We hear both the highs of spring break and new life and the lows of violence, of health issues, of death. And we bring them here and share them together. And that somehow makes everything a little bit more bearable. So in the spirit of prayer and meditation right now, I ask that you sit quietly, take 3 deep breaths, and let's hold this together. Amen, and blessed be.
Spirit of life, come unto me.
We put that in the wrong place in the service. That needs to be the end. That's what we should go out on. Thank you, choir, so much for that lovely gift. That was amazing, and all of you really and truly are in excellent voice today. I appreciate how that song reminds us that even when the path is uncertain or hard, kind of like right now, we still dream, we still build, we still love, we still sing anyway. But I think that song left one thing out. We can do all that stuff, not just because we're stubborn or because we're brave, though we often are. We can do it because we're not alone. We can dream, build, love, and sing because we are held in a community, this congregation, that dreams with us, builds with us, loves with us, and sings beautifully with us. Being held in a community, that makes all the difference. It gives us strength and purpose. Indeed, it is a holy thing to have found a place that reminds us that we are lovable and that we are loved just the way we are. And that, beloveds, is what we're here to celebrate today. Not just the beauty of the flowers that we'll be bringing forth in just a few minutes, but the beauty of the people who brought them. Now, I know for some of us, community has not always felt beautiful. Maybe you've been hurt by a group that was supposed to care for you, maybe even here at this church. Maybe you're not sure yet if this place is safe for your full self. If that's true for you, please know we see you. And we hope today's ritual is a small reminder of what healthy, life-giving community can be. We are not perfect here at UUI, but we are trying. And the tradition of the flower communion symbolizes that, both our interdependence and our imperfect trying. We do this flower communion ritual every year. It began with the Reverend Norbert Čapek, the founder of the Unitarian Church in Czechoslovakia 100 years ago. He created it in a time of deep cultural and religious division after World War I as a way to bring people together, not around a creed or a set of beliefs, but around the shared beauty and dignity of human life. He invited people to bring a flower from wherever they could, the fields, gardens, shops, and roadsides, and to place it in a common vase at the front of the sanctuary. And then at the end of the sanctuary, each person would take home a flower brought by someone else. The message was simple and powerful. Each of us is unique. Each of us is worthy. And together we create something beautiful. Čapek would later be arrested by the Gestapo for his liberal religious views and his work nurturing a free and inclusive community. He was sent to the Dachau concentration camp where he was murdered in a gas chamber in 1942. His death reminds us that this ritual was never just about the flowers. It was, and still is, an act of resistance, a quiet but profound declaration that diversity matters, that each person is sacred, and that love and community are stronger than fear. And when we come together, we create something far more beautiful than we could ever create alone. And that's why we do this every year, to remind ourselves not of the details, but of the meaning of this profound ritual. This year, I want us to specifically reflect not just on the beauty of the flowers, but on the kind of community that they represent. When the kids bring our bouquets forward in a few minutes, Hear that, younglings? I'm going to need some help in just a few minutes to bring the flowers forward. Not yet. Bear with me, but in just a minute. So in a few minutes, when our younglings bring forward the flowers, I invite you to make time to really look at the bouquets that will be put on the table here in front. They are going to be a little wild, a little chaotic. Some of the blooms will be upright and perky, and others will already be starting to droop. There may be colors that clash. There will be unexpected pairings, and probably there will be flowers that are a little worse for wear for the drive here. And you know what? All of this is exactly what makes the bouquets so beautiful, because they are full of difference. And that's so true of this congregation, too. Our church is not a curated vase of a dozen roses in perfect condition. We are a wild and wonderful mess of humanness, bumping into one another, trying our best, sometimes getting it wrong and needing to be called back into right relationship, and showing up again and again and again anyway. Our bouquet includes what each person has to offer in all of our broken stems and droopiness and wilted petals, and all of our new buds and our fresh flowers open to the sky. And just like this congregation, those bouquets won't be as beautiful as they are by accident. Members of our Fine Arts Committee have been back there arranging the flowers, trying to make sure that each vase brings out the best in the flowers in it. Because you don't just toss a bunch of people into a room and call it a church. It takes care, it takes structure, it takes people willing to show up again and again to create something that holds us all. And beloveds, this is sacred work that we do here at UUI. Now, some of the kids talked about the welcome table a few weeks ago, a big pretend table that can stretch to fit anyone who wants to join it. Does anyone here remember that? If so, can you raise your hands? Does anybody remember the welcome table? Who knows? But the thing is, it doesn't really matter how many people are sitting at the welcome table. It always stretches to make room for one more. I think we can all understand this concept, right? It's always stretching. That's the kind of table that we are called to build here at UUI. Not a table with assigned seating and RSVP requirements. Not a table where only those who brought a dish can eat. A stretchy table. That's why, just like Chapek's original ritual, we invite everyone to take a flower at the end of the service. Whether or not you brought one, it does not matter. Because this is not a transaction, bring one, take one. This is a gift. This is grace. This is what community looks like when it's working. Now, let's be honest, it's not easy to build healthy, vibrant communities, especially right now. So many of us are tired, the world is heavy, the news is relentless, and when we're under pressure, when we're anxious or overwhelmed, it is easy to lash out, to maybe pick fights that aren't about the thing we say that they're about. Maybe you've felt it. I know I have. I'm prickly sometimes. I try and control the things I can't control. And so maybe we argue over flowers or formatting, but what we're really carrying is grief or fear or a sense of powerlessness about something different than this church. And those feelings of grief and fear and powerlessness, they deserve care. They deserve attention. It is absolutely understandable to be carrying those feelings right now. And it's also not okay when they get displaced towards others in this community. The church is not the problem. The problem is out there. We are the people who are holding each other through the storm, not causing the storm. What we have here, this beautiful, messy, beloved community, is more important than any fake fight. You know, the kind where an argument flares up over nothing because something deeper has been simmering unspoken. What we are building here is more important than that. It is more life-saving than any temporary frustration. And so today, as we bring our flowers, some carefully chosen, others picked up in a rush, some of them forgotten and left on the kitchen table, all of them are worthy. Let us remember that this ritual is more than symbolic. It is indeed a rehearsal, a reminder that the ordinary can become sacred, that our differences can become a strength, that every single one of us is welcome here, and that belonging comes with responsibility for care and attentiveness. Beloveds, this thing that we hold sacred, this vibrant, messy community, is fragile if we are careless. It needs all of us, our grace, our honesty, and our tending. So what a gift it is when we bring all those together. May these bouquets remind us that when we bring this all together, when we serve one another, when we trust in the bouquet that we are building, it is nothing short of holy. May it be so, because together we make it so. All right. Are we ready to bring in the flowers? So here is what I ask. As the music plays in just a minute, I ask our younglings to go into the back, into the social hall, and get a vase and bring the vase forward and put it on the table. And Sarah and I will be helping you, and we're going to put all the vases here on the table in front of us. All right? Let's do it. Oh, yes. Look at this bounty. Every year I worry, will there be enough flowers? Of course there are. At the beginning of this ritual, Chapek and his congregation took a moment to consciously and intentionally turn these flowers into sacred symbols. That's what to consecrate something means, to turn it into something sacred. Let us take a moment now to consecrate and then bless these flowers with the traditional words from Dr. Chapek. I invite you to please rise in body or in spirit for the consecration and for the blessing. Infinite Spirit of life, we ask thy blessing on these, thy messengers of fellowship and love. May they remind us amid diversities of knowledge and of gifts to be one in desire and affection and in devotion to good and beauty. May they also remind us of the value of comradeship, of doing and sharing with one another. May we cherish friendship as a most precious gift, and may we not let awareness of another's talents discourage us or sully our relationship, but may we realize that whatever we can do, great or small, the efforts of all of us are needed. May we be strengthened by the knowledge that one Spirit, the Spirit of love, unites us, and may we endeavor together for a more joyful life for all. Amen. And now let us bless together the consecrated flowers with the words that are in your order of service and on your screen. I will read the regular text, and I will invite you to respond with the words that will be in italics. Do we have the words for? There's nothing there? Okay. All right. So they are not on a slide, so you will have to read off your orders of service. Let me make sure if I have the same. All right. You all have the italics. I will begin. In the name of the providence which implants in the heart of the seed the future of a flower, and which implants in our hearts that unrest which will not be quenched till people live lovingly with each other, we bless these flowers. In the name of the ultimate, in which we move and take our being, and in the name of the Creatus, which makes parents and siblings, lovers and loners, who they are, we bless these flowers.
In the name of the prophets and sages who sacrificed their lives to hasten the coming of the reign of mutual respect, we bless these flowers. Let us renew our resolutions sincerely to be siblings regardless of the barriers which estrange.
May these flowers be for us the sign of the glory and variety to which we aspire, knowing the whole while that we are one family.
In this holy resolve, may we be strengthened by the spirit of love, that we ourselves may bloom in the splendor of a joyful life, and endeavor to be more whole in all ways.
Thank you. You may be seated. Just as it took each flower to make the beautiful bouquets we sought, so too does it take the time and dedication, talent, commitment, and love of the members of Friends of UUI to make this congregation what it is and what it can be. Unitarian Universalist congregations rely on y'all to work in partnership with the staff to bring the mission and vision of this congregation to life. And so it is fitting that as we celebrate Flower Communion, we also celebrate you, those of you in this room, those of you who are online, those who are not able to be here. In just a moment, we will be asking you to rise in body or in spirit as different areas of the life of the congregation are recognized. And we ask that you remain standing, and that if you participate in more than one way, you can hold up fingers and hands to indicate how many areas in which your service is recognized. All right, let's begin with the area of governance and administration. If you are on the board, the finance committee, the ministerial search committee, the stewardship committee, or the transition team, or the development committee, I ask that you rise in body or in spirit, or just hold your hand up, but it's going to be holding for a long time. All right, please remain standing.
If you participate in the ministry of and to children and youth in this congregation through attending RE, that includes kids and that includes adults that come to RE as guests, you should stand up or put a hand in the air. Staffing the nursery, leading RE, facilitating OWL. We ran 3 levels of OWL this year, folks, so our trained OWL experts are quite beloved, participated in our mailbox ministry, served on the RE Council, were an overnight chaperone, helped clean out or organize program spaces. Please rise in body or in spirit. And if you are already standing, I guarantee you every single one of those people should be holding up a couple fingers by now. And I also want to mention Tim Murphy specifically because in addition to all he does for our youth program, he's in Montreal at Canoodle, as Katrina mentioned, the National Canadian Youth Conference, with 2 of our youth this weekend.
If you participate in the worship life of the congregation through being a worship associate, singing in the choir, providing special music, being on our amazing tech team, being an usher, or helping with coffee hour, please rise in body or in spirit, or hold up another finger.
If you participate in the adult religious education ministry of this congregation through being on the Adult RE Council, being a Chalice Circle facilitator or a transgender welcoming congregations facilitator, if you coordinate the men's group, the ladies' noon out group, the meditation group, the pagan collective, the Just for Funsies book group, I know we're gonna get all those fingers in the air, the photo group, or if you coordinate any other of the many, many groups in this congregation, please rise in body or spirit or hold up another finger.
I bet you're wishing, some of you wishing you had sandals on today. You could hold up some toes too, right? If you participate in the social justice ministry of this congregation through being on the social justice committee, the welcoming congregation renewal team, the reproductive justice team, the green team, the good trouble team, please rise in body or in spirit or hold up another finger.
If you participate in the membership ministry of this congregation through being on the membership committee, staffing the welcome desk, helping out with newcomer workshops, being on the caring team, or if you've hosted a dinner for 8 or host choice, you're part of the Joys and Sorrows team, please rise in body or spirit or hold up another finger.
If you participate in the nitty-gritty of keeping our campus lovely through being on the Interior Committee, the Grounds Committee, the Facilities Committee, or the Fine Arts Committee, you know the deal. Rise in body or spirit or hold up another finger.
Is anybody literally making spirit fingers yet? I feel like you are. And there is one more, because you are all here, both in person and virtually. And you show up and you give of yourself simply by sharing your presence with us. Whether this is your first time, or you're taking a leadership sabbatical, or you're still finding your place, you are here and a beloved part of this congregation. Look around. Look into the eyes and faces of those online, of those in this room. Thank you for all you do for UUI. Let us give a round of applause on 3. 1, oh, we're independent folks. 1, 2, 3. You may be seated. So, and now I have a gift for you. I'm giggling because I've been getting so many compliments about this shirt all morning long and how it's so perfect for flower communion. And the image on this shirt is also on these stickers. It was designed by a UU young adult, Claire Pullen, and the flowers in this design were deliberately chosen. A red rose to remind us to center love, an orange tulip signifying Article 2's renewal of our shared values, a yellow dandelion for our resilience in trying times, a green carnation for queer identity, a blue morning glory representing respect for all living things, and a violet lavender to signify our own empowerment. I hope you'll use yours to showcase your pride in a community that would be incomplete without you. For those of you online, please email me and I will rapidly send you one.
And just to be clear, the stickers are for everyone, so please, everyone, do take one. So we have celebrated our community, and now it is time that we receive these flowers. As you each come forward in just a moment to take the flowers, I invite the rows to go one at a time from the front to the back. When it's your time for your row to come forward, please exit your row down the center and come up the aisle to get your flower, and then return to your chair by completing the circle around the opposite sides. Does that make sense? So come up the center, get your flower, and then go back around the opposite sides. For those of you who are online, there is a vase set aside here for all of you. If you would like me to deliver a flower to you, please send me an email or a note on Slack, and I will make it so. Now, we do not have time to pick out flowers on your own, so I'm going to invite our children and younglings to come forward again, and they will help you and they will give flowers to you. And again, it will be a glorious, chaotic experience. Let us get our flowers. really does start off as chaos, and then it magically works itself out. If you somehow have not picked up a flower yet, please do pick one up after the service. Let us pause for a moment in contemplation of the flowers we have. Our church community would not be the same without all of our flowers in it. By exchanging flowers, we show our willingness to journey together in our search for truth and meaning. As each one of us takes home a flower brought by someone else, it symbolizes our shared celebration in community. We take one flower and we put it aside for those in our community who have died in the past year, who we will sorely miss. And we take one flower as well and put it aside as a reminder for those who may be present with us online, but not present here in spirit, or those who are with us just in spirit today. May these flowers and this ceremony remind us of the joy we find in religious community, the joy of sharing our lives with one another, the joy of our combined searches for truth and meaning. May they remind us to listen to that which calls to each of us in its own unique way. May it be so. We are so grateful for our diversity.
Every month, UUI gives half of the Sunday collection to a cause chosen by our Social Justice Committee. For May's Share the Plate offering, we are supporting Food Not Bombs Indianapolis, a local organization dedicated to addressing hunger, homelessness, and poverty. Through their volunteer-driven efforts, they provide free meals and groceries to those in need. Their mission is to inspire community participation in solving societal issues like hunger, homelessness, and war, while promoting peace and environmental sustainability. To learn more or get involved, visit their Facebook group, Food Not Bombs-Indianapolis. To give using your smartphone, text the dollar amount and the word share to the phone number in the chat or in bulletin, or visit uui.org. Here in the sanctuary, ushers will come around to collect the donations. The offering will now be greatly received. May it be joyfully given. Thank you for your generosity. Our closing words today are from Douglas Malloch. Friends are the flowers. Friends are the flowers along life's way, and those that walk the road today, whatever else they may possess, may find a lot of loveliness. Somewhere before the journey's end, may see a rose, may make a friend. I hope you have not walked so fast that all the roses you have passed, and all your friends you have forgot. I doubt if wealth be wealth or not. If when life's waning summer goes, we have not found a single rose. I doubt if this be poverty, however poor our purse may be. If there are those along the way who call us kind, if day by day, like ripples in a pool extends the widening circle of our friends. The friends are flowers along life's years, and no one else so poor appears as in the poor of friendship none. So rich appears as is the one who has his friends, and when they part, still has their fragrance in his heart.
Our closing words today, or our closing hymn today, will be number 78, Color and Fragrance. Please rise in body or in spirit. We'll be singing verses 1, 5, and 6.
Please join me now in our chalice extinguishing words on the screen and printed in your order of service. Now we extinguish the flame of our chalice, but not the light of understanding, the warmth of compassion, or the fire of commitment. Let us keep those with us until we meet again. Go in peace.